Dragons. Why did I mention dragons? Previous media for Dragon Age is very important when it comes to finding out what's going on with Inquisition. And by media, I mean everything that is Dragon Age oriented. So, Dragon Age 2. People ask me, do you think I should play Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 so that I could play Dragon Age Inquisition? BioWare says you don't really have to. They usually make their games so that you could just pick it up and not have to play their previous titles. But it would be a very smart thing to do that. Not only because I love the games. I love the Origins and Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 2 had its faults, but I think they're both very important for Dragon Age Inquisition because they set the stage. More so Dragon Age 2 than Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Origins kind of just introduces you to the world, introduces you to characters, and it's an awesome game. It's an awesome story. I'm sure you'll love it. Dragon Age 2, though, is directly tied to Dragon Age Inquisition because of the Mage Rebellion at the end of Dragon Age 2. What happened in Kirkwall, it was like a domino effect. It started happening everywhere because mages were like, hey, did you hear what happened in Kirkwall? Dude, why don't we just do that? But not only the games, also the comics. The comics are huge for knowing what's going to happen in Inquisition. The comic, Those Who Can Speak, I believe it's called, and then Those Who Sleep, I think it's called. It's the comic after Those Who Could Speak or something like that. The ones with Alistair, Isabella, and Varric. Those comics say so much, and they only reinforce the reason why I think that there's some kind of Maleficar or Magister behind all of this. Another big important thing is the anime, like I said before. The anime also sets the scene for Olay, and it introduces you more to Cassandra and who she is, because she's not just some seeker that we met in Dragon Age 2. She's so much more than that. She's freaking dragon hunter. It's freaking awesome. If you guys haven't seen the anime, it's really good. In the anime, we're introduced to this dragon cult. And the dragon cult is made up of blood mages, and they let's forget about the girl, the special girl that could freaking talk to dragons and all this stuff. That's important, but I'm not really going into that. I'm going more into the dragon cult. The dragon cult is a cult that worships high dragons. And not all worshippers of the dragon cult are just normal blood mages. Some of them are magisters from the Tevinter Imperium, and dreamers the dreamers from the Tevinter Imperium. I mean, dreamers go back, way back. I mean, before the Golden City was corrupted into the Black City, before the Blight was formed, before the Darkspawn. So the dragon cult is formed of powerful blood mages, magisters, dreamers, whatever you want to call them, Maleficar. They pretty much make sacrifices so that they could not only control dragons, but also worship the dragons. In the comic, those who speak, I'm not getting the title correctly, but I know it's something like that. Those who speak, I'll put it on here. I'll look it up and I'll put the actual title. In that comic and in the one that comes after, those also deal with a dragon cult. And not only the dragon cult, but also this magister, Tevinter magister named Aurelian Titus. In that comic, we go to the Tevinter Imperium, or not we, but Alistair, Varric, and Isabella go to the Tevinter Imperium, and they travel to Saharon, which is just north of the Tevinter Imperium. If you know anything about Dragon Age history, you know that Tevinter Imperium and the Qunari have never had good relations. They've always been in war against each other. So we go to Saharon in this comic, and Alistair needs to talk to the Arashok. It's not that simple. There's so much things that happen. I mean, they get imprisoned and all this good stuff. But the Arashok asks to talk to Alistair. And guess who it is? Sten. Sten becomes the new Arashok. So I'm pretty sure that we will see Sten as the new Arashok in Dragon Age Inquisition. That's almost a given. Because the comic kind of leaves it on open-ended. Because it's like, what happened to Sten? I don't know. So I think we're going to see him again in Dragon Age Inquisition, which I'm super excited about. So they talk to Sten, and they're talking about this Aurelian Titus. And Alistair, there's also talk about Merrick, King Merrick, Alistair's father. And Alistair's like, what? I thought my father was dead. Nope, he's not dead. Finally, Sten joins Alistair, Isabella, and Varric to go back to the Tevinter Imperium, or Saharon, I believe, to look for this Magister, Titus. And that's when Sten tells Alistair. Alistair asks Sten, why is this guy looking for me? Like, why does he want me? And Sten tells Alistair, he wants you because you have draconic blood. Meaning you have dragon blood. I mean, this is big stuff. When I was reading this, I was like, what? Alistair has dragon blood. That means Merrick has dragon blood. So this Tevinter Magister is part of this dragon cult. He's pretty much the leader of one of these dragon cults. And he captured Merrick, King Merrick, and now he wants Alistair because he's doing sacrifices. He actually has King Merrick attached to this device that's called the Magrelin. And what the Magrelin does is it's a device that collects blood. It dates back to the time of the Dreamers, when the Magisters could enter the Fade at will and control people's minds. And this Magister, once they meet him, I'm skipping through a lot of stuff, but when they finally find this guy, he uses this power that nobody has ever seen before. That's called Dragon Fire. And this Magister explains to Alistair that the Dragon Fire is actually a power that the Theron family has. Alistair's last name is Theron. Merrick's last name is Theron. In Dragon Age Origins, we learn that one of Alistair's ancestors is Calenhad. He's also known as Calenhad the Great. Calenhad Theron. The reason why Alistair has draconic blood is because Calenhad used to drink the blood of a dragon. So he kind of like passed it down in his genes. So this Magister wants Alistair because I think he wants to use Alistair as well, because he says, hey, why just one Theron? Why not two Therons? It could be more powerful that way. By using the Magrelin to suck out the blood of of Merrick and Alistair eventually, he's going to augment his dreamers of his dragon cult, so they could brainwash and mind control all of Thetis to restore the Tevinter glory. This would wipe clean the Chant of Light and the Qun. So he would pretty much make everybody in Thetis brainwashed. Not just like converted, no, brainwashed. So that they would completely forget the Chant of Light and the Qun and follow the Tevinter Imperium. So all of Thetis would become Tevinter. Varric shoots the Magrelin with Bianca and makes a crack in the device. With this crack, they all go to the Fade. Merrick ends up killing this Magister. He cuts his head off. The guy's dead. Merrick doesn't want to leave the Fade, and Alistair convinces him to come back. They all come back to the real world, and Merrick is obviously not the Merrick he was in the Fade. He's still connected to the Magrelin, and he's dying. They think that the only thing that was keeping him alive was the Magrelin. So Alistair destroys the Magrelin, and Merrick dies. Now let's go back to the dragon cult. They worship high dragons. If that's what we're dealing with here, since we've been dealing with it in previous things, previous media of Dragon Age. Recent. This is recent. This is a recent comic. The anime is not too old either. We dealt with the dragon cult in the anime. We dealt with the dragon cult in the comic. I think we're gonna deal with still the dragon cult in Dragon Age Inquisition, because obviously you kill one of them and they're not gonna die. Another guy's gonna take over, right? So it doesn't make sense that even though Aurelian Titus died, it doesn't make sense that the dragon cult just disappears. Obviously not. They're gonna continue. Someone else is gonna be in his spot. So I think for Dragon Age Inquisition, the dragon cult is going to rise again. They're going to try to do this all over again, but their plan is open the damn veil. Their plan is let the demons in. And especially with the way that the mages are no longer protected, are no longer in the circle of magi. They're rebelled. They're making it easier for mages to get possessed by demons by letting the Fade in, or by ripping the Fade. So I think Tevinter, the Tevinter Imperium is obviously involved here. The dragon cult, very powerful blood mages, and just Maleficar in general, right? So, okay, dragon cult. What's the first thing that I thought of when I thought of dragon cult? If Dragon Cult is in Dragon Age Inquisition, I was like, oh my god. Flemeth. They're going to be worshipping Flemeth. I bet you anything. I knew Flemeth. I know Flemeth has a role in Dragon Age Inquisition, but I was like, I don't understand it. I don't know how she has the role. What is going on here? I was like, Flemeth can't do this on her own. There's gotta be the evil villain is this whoever took over the dragon cult, and they're all worshipping Flemeth. Flemeth is a dragon. That's obvious. We knew that since Dragon Age Origins. She's a high dragon, no doubt. She's no little dragonling or whatever the hell they're called. She is a high dragon, which is pretty much considered to be the next best thing to one of the old gods, to the Tevinter Imperium, which is why they started the dragon cult, because the Tevinter Imperium worshipped the old gods in the Fade, the dragons. So the next best thing is a high dragon. So they're worshipping these. Let's say they're worshipping Flemeth. Now we think of Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. The Warden disappears. Hawk disappears. Merrick disappears. Alistair was next in line. He was going to disappear because that Aurelian Titus guy wanted Alistair to do a sacrifice. He was already sacrificing Merrick. He was already using Merrick. They want people with dragon blood, so they got Merrick. I'll bet you anything the Warden had it. Hawk had it. Morrigan has it because she's the daughter of a dragon. So Morrigan, this explains the role Morrigan has in Dragon Age Inquisition, because she obviously has dragon blood, which also explains why she wanted the godchild. She wanted she wanted offspring to have dragon blood as well. I think any Grey Warden obviously is going to have some kind of dragon blood because of the taint. Because Grey Wardens could also feel the Archdemon. So I think there's some kind of connection there. I don't know how Hawk would have dragon blood. I guess he's just one of those that have dragon blood. I never thought Alistair had dragon blood. So I think that's what's going on here. I think the dragon cult is involved, and they're worshipping Flemeth. I mean, in Witch Hunt, in Dragon Age Origins Witch Hunt, the DLC with Morrigan, she looks so distraught. She looks so sad when she's talking about Flemeth and how she's been planning something, and Morrigan never thought it was anything like she She was like, I never thought it was this big. You know, pretty much letting you know that it's bigger than you would ever imagine. I mean, this group wants to take over all of Thetis. If they're trying to do the same thing that they were trying to do in the comic, they're trying to brainwash people. They're trying to bring the Tevinter Imperium completely back. If this is what's going on, it makes sense with the little symbols. The Tevinter Imperium off to the left on that map that Cassandra was looking at. It makes sense why the Qunari are involved, because the Qunari hate the Tevinter. It makes sense why the Dales are involved. The Dalish hate the Tevinter. It makes sense why obviously why the Orlesians are involved, obviously why the Chantry is involved, why the Templars are involved. All of that. The Seekers. It directly ties to Cassandra being a dragon hunter. It all kind of just makes sense, you know? When I thought about all this, I was like, oh my god. If they do this, it's going to be a really cool story. I'm totally down for them doing this. I really hope they do. It's going to be so good. Yeah, I think that's what Dragon Age Inquisition is going to be about. I'm going to show you the footage, the Gamescom footage. I'm going to be pausing this, so if you haven't seen it, please go watch it, because I'm not going to do it any justice right now. See this area? That's the the western approach. That structure right there, that's the fortress, the Grey Warden Fortress. I'm not sure where this could be. I think it's somewhere maybe on the coast of Orlais and Ferelden. The Waking Sea. I'm guessing the sea right here is most likely the Waking Sea. On your way to Orlais, maybe. This Qunari is most likely the Iron Bull that people are saying that is going to be in Dragon Age Inquisition. That's just a rumor, but I think he's going to be the Iron Bull, and I think he's going to be a party member, and I'll tell you why, because there's another scene where that kind of proves it. This part, do you remember that symbol, that symbol that I told you to remember in the of a hand holding something, like something sharp? This is it right here. So this is obviously some kind of symbol of Andraste, because it has that thing. You see it in a different area as well. I think this is entering maybe Orlais. That's obviously Orlais, the Heartlands most likely. That's a high dragon. I think this is the some kind of symbol of the Maker or Andraste. This is the Seeker Fortress. See, there's that bird up on top in Orlais, in Val Rayu. I don't know what this is. I think this is probably some area that you encounter while coming from Ferelden to Orlais. But I was trying to see what that flag was. It looks like nothing I've seen before. It could be maybe a symbol of Andraste. Maybe these what look like to be kings are either Andraste's husband, or I don't know, something like that. I have no idea. There's that statue again holding that what looks like a crown. I think it is like Andraste. And then if you look off to the mountains back there, those are obviously the Frostback Mountains. So this is on the other side of the Frostback Mountains, most likely on the side of Orlais. That is the Grey Warden fortress. It doesn't quite look like Weishaupt if you look at it more. But it is Grey Warden because of the griffins right there. That's Orlais. There's a picture in the World of Thetis that looks exactly like that. That bridge, those structure looks almost like exactly like that. I think this is maybe the outskirts of Orlais. That's Andraste. This is most likely because of the environment, those rocks, the green around it. This is most likely on the side of Orlais. That's the Fade. These pictures of the Fade are directly from the Book of Thetis. They're just animated. This is the one shot that I'm not entirely sure of, but it looks a lot like the Grand Cathedral to me, except that the outside, the outskirts look. This almost looks like it's like a fortress in a cove, kind of like it's just like it was created in the hill, kind of. If you look at the top over here, but it could just be the Grand Cathedral because it does look like it. There are some markings right here on this rock, which I'm not quite sure what they are, but I thought that was kind of interesting. These look like some kind of tombs, but all these dead right here, the dead, that's obviously from the Fade. So I think we're going to be encountering a lot of undead and demons just everywhere. That's obviously Orlais, the Chantry flag right there. They're probably prosecuting some kind of mage or something. That's the Fade. Maybe we're going to be going to the Black City or something. That's Ferelden. I wasn't sure what this was, but if you look right here, this little statue, that's a Mabari, or at least that's what I think. I saw some statues in the Ward of Thedas, so I think this is Ferelden. Looks like some kind of ruin. They look like ruins of some sort. Possibly that fortress that I was talking about. You know what? Now looking at it, this is probably some kind of the Tevinter fortress that I was talking about. Because these guys right here look like Tevinter mages. This place, I don't know exactly where it is. This is because those soldiers right there, they're not Orlesians. They're not Chevaliers. Way too underdressed to be Chevaliers. But they look more like Ferelden soldiers. So if you look at this, look at the symbol actually. On the back of, look at that symbol. It was a seeker symbol. Oh my god, I think you're a seeker. I assume that person in the middle is your Inquisitor, right? This person off to the left is most likely Vivienne. And there's a Qunari in the back following. I'm guessing that's maybe the Iron Bull, maybe just another Qunari. But he's obviously going to be on your party because it's like, why the hell are you following me? Like, get away from me. I think he's probably going to be, you're going to have a Qunari in your party. But what is really weird is the symbol. If this is the Inquisitor, now it could be Cassandra, although I doubt it. I think it's your Inquisitor. Why do you have a Seeker symbol? Where's the Inquisition symbol? That's not the Inquisition symbol. I wonder if you start off as a Seeker. That wouldn't really fit with what they're saying, though. Now again, this might not be your Inquisitor, this might be somebody else, another Seeker, but I think this picture says a lot if that is your Inquisitor. If that is your Inquisitor, that's gotta mean that you start off as a Seeker. Because why do you have a Seeker symbol? And you're probably in Ferelden, or most likely in Ferelden, because those soldiers are not Chevaliers. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the footage shown, the new footage shown. That's pretty much all I had to say. This is really long. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about my theories, my crazy theories. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to know more. Just analyzing all of this has made me extremely, even more excited because if they do go into what I was talking about, it's going to be so freaking awesome. I love everything to do with dragons, and it really, if they involved Flemeth in that way, it really is going to set the scene, and it's really going to make us all feel like this is what was coming, you know, because they were always kind of alluding to something going on with Flemeth. from Dragon Age Origins in Dragon Age 2, that she had plans for something, and something big, and that the world was gonna change, and all this stuff. But please remember that these are all theories of mine. This is all speculation. These are theories that I came up with by looking at all these maps, by looking at everything over and over and over, by making things, zooming in and making lighting up pictures and all that stuff. So I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen, so don't think that I just gave out all the spoilers of Dragon Age Inquisition, because I didn't. This is just me wondering about what I'm seeing and what we might be in for. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, for listening to my crazy excitement. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.